Hey guys, welcome to this week's marathon review of The Real Housewives of New Jersey. I know I'm a little bit late, but let me tell you, episode one, oh man, I wish I watched it sooner. It was good. It was really, really good. But I'm watching it now and I'm having fun, so let's get into the review for episode one. Hopefully, this won't be too long. Okay, episode one. Wow, so much happened in episode 1. Like usually when you go into these shows, you expect the first episode, like Candy and the gang. Okay, like you kind of expect that where it's like, yeah, okay, they're setting everything up. We're catching up with everybody, seeing what they've been up to. Cool. You don't expect too much, but this episode it brought it. It catched us up with everybody, and then we also discovered that so much other things have been going on behind the scenes, and now everything's coming out on camera. So it's like, boom, it captures your attention right away. So this was a really, really, really good first episode. Okay, so let me kind of just go character by character since so much happened. Teresa and Louis, let's just start there. Um, It's sad. I was really rooting for them. I really was. And you know what? It could still work out. I'm not a mind reader well, I'm not a psychic. I can't or fortune teller. So who knows how things are going to work out. But once I started to hear those rumors about him, about how he treated his ex-girlfriends and, kind of like emotionally abusive, maybe, physically, allegedly, all that jazz, I'm like, oh no. Oh no, you know what I mean? And then, oh my gosh, this is so weird. This video is being leaked of him naked with a bunch of other men naked, and he's on his knees and he's begging his ex-girlfriend's forgiveness or something of the sort. And that's weird. Who would have video of such a thing, So it's like red flag after red flag, and it's like, oh man. And you know what? After watching, what was that show called again? The Real Housewives All Stars. Okay, after watching that and seeing Teresa, I don't know. I never really disliked Teresa, but I've always seen her as a villain, to be honest with you. But watching her on All Stars, it gave her a different light. And like people have said it before, but she's such a good actor that you really believe that character. But people say that Teresa plays dumb. And I'm not gonna lie, I fell for it. It wasn't until I saw All Stars that I was like, she knows what she's doing. She puts on. She pretends to be a lot more dumb than she really is, right? Because you saw the way that she lied, straight up lied to Dolores when Dolores was confronting her about that joke that Joe told that totally offended Louis. And she was like, "Oh, I like it. That's a funny joke." And you know what? If I haven't seen, well, oh yes, it was called Ultimate Girls Trip. If I didn't see Ultimate Girls Trip, and I saw that scene, I would totally buy it. I'm like, oh, Teresa, she's so dumb. She doesn't get the joke. She wasn't complimenting Joe or Louis. Like, I totally would buy it. But, and then in her confessional, she was like, obviously, I know that it was a big deal, but I'm not going to give it anybody's energy because it's none of their business. It's none of their business whether, Louis was upset or not upset. I'm in the relationship with him, not you guys. You're just using it for what? Television. So Teresa knows. And everybody knows, you know what I mean? But I can't feel too sorry for Teresa and this Louis situation because if I remember, just the season before, you went to Jackie's husband's birthday party, okay? for his birthday. You went to his birthday party and told people at his birthday party that he was cheating on his wife. So I'm sorry. I can't feel too bad for you and Louie and people talking about you. You know what I mean? Not that I want to see her suffer or anything of the sort. It's just that you kind of done it to others. It's your turn. I kind of think it's karma. And I don't know with Louis, like, if you have all these sketchy things about you, wouldn't you kind of want to stay away from a reality television star? Like, if you're dating a reality television star, people are automatically gonna look up all the dirt they can about you. All of the dirt. So, if you have dirt, maybe you date someone that's not on reality television. So, yeah, I don't know. But oh yes, the whole naked thing and him begging for his ex forgiveness and blah blah blah. Although, yes, that's strange. Okay, I can understand maybe, yes, you're going to this men's retreat. Maybe they get you to take shrooms or some sort of drug, right? And maybe they have this weird thing, okay, we're going to go out in the forest and we're going to take off all our clothes and we're just going to like let everything go. Like some weird ceremony for healing and release or something of the sort. So I get a scenario in which that would happen. The only place where they messed up, I don't think you should record that. If you're going to have that moment, let that be a private moment where nobody else is going to know about that except you and those men. Okay? And then it's perfectly fine. But once you start taking out a camera and you're filming it and you're sending apologies naked, bending on your knees, it looks a little unhinged later on in your life. It may come back to bite you. It's just not a good idea. Why don't you talk to your ex girlfriend and give her an apology when you have your clothes back on? Okay? Maybe when you're not surrounded by a group of naked men, maybe this is not the best time. Maybe you take the information you're getting in this moment and then you convey it at a later date appropriately. You know what I mean? Something that's not going to make you look like a weirdo when you go and date a reality television star. you know? But whatever. At the end of the day, when Teresa was like, I have my past, he has his. And comment down below, like, what do you think about that? Like that statement that Teresa made? Because yes, if you do look at Teresa, like we're looking at it from the perspective of Teresa's too good for him, right? Like, no, Teresa's gonna get hurt. Maybe. I don't know if everybody's coming from it from that perspective, but I was. But when she said, I have a past, I mean, you could look at her and like, she's been to jail, you know? She's she's on reality television star and I mean reality sorry. She is a reality television star and she has been on reality television. And she hasn't always looked the best. She's looked crazy. She has flipped tables. She has essentially been a villain, you know? So maybe in her eyes, it's like, I have stuff about me that's not so great. He has stuff about him that's not so great, but like he accepts me and I accept him, so it works and I'm happy. So you guys just leave it alone. Don't ruin it for me. I don't know. Listen, do people change? I do believe. I do believe that people change, but I think it's not so easy and I think it takes a lot of work. You know what I mean? And maybe him going to a retreat is potentially a good sign, but like is he also going to therapy? Did he go to therapy for an extensive period of time or like I don't know. Like that's something that only Teresa knows because it's their relationship. But if he genuinely put effort into changing his behavior, then sure. And if Teresa's actually putting effort into changing her behavior and stuff like that, then sure, it could work for them. It may not work for everybody. Okay, and I understand the concern that people may have with them, but I don't know at the end of the day. I mean, I hope everything works out. I mean, oh yeah, she's moving in with him after a year of dating. Is that too soon? I mean, it's a little quick for me, okay, but it's not like a month. But a year is kind of a little quick, but then I don't know, they're both grown. You know what I mean? So it's like I can imagine if you're a bit older, you kind of know what you want faster, what you don't want faster. So it's been a year and she decided that's what she's going to do. But the only thing is, when you have children, and you're bringing children into the situation, although I believe what's her youngest daughter is what, 12, 14, I don't know. So, yes, they're getting older, but I still think they're pretty young. And you have to be careful with, like, you don't want to put your kids in situations unnecessarily, right? And, like, kind of, I mean, whatever it is, they'll survive and be okay, but you have to make sure it's a right fit for them as well. And if it's not, like, I don't know, I don't see the problem with them living separately and just continuing to date and hang around each other. I don't know why they would necessarily want to combine. I, no, I shouldn't say that. Whatever. At the end of the day, it's up to them, and I hope it works out for her. Okay, Jennifer, and this nose job. Oh my gosh. I liked her nose before. You know what I mean? And I agree with her daughter. It's not that the nose necessarily looks bad. Like, if everybody's talking about Jennifer's nose, but if Jennifer came into the show with that nose, I don't think it's something that people would be like, "Oh my gosh, look at her nose." You know what I mean? It would just be her nose, and we would just accept it and move on. The thing is, though, like her daughter said, I don't really see, the nose doesn't look better to me. Okay, let me just put it like that. The nose doesn't look better. Your nose before looked better. So it's kind of like, why did you? I don't know. She should have, but we've seen this story before. We've seen these, people get one too many surgeries, right? They should have stopped at one or two, but then they went up to three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10, and it's like, you like, they just did a little too much. And it's not that they look terrible, it's just that they did a little too much. You know what I mean? And her husband was shady when they were around the dinner table and she had that bandage around her nose, and he was like, why are you still walking around with that thing? He's like, around here, we like our what do you say, our clients don't want everybody to know that they got plastic surgery. Like, what? Like, that was shady. It's kind of like, why are you advertising it? He probably wanted her to hide it on camera. You know what I mean? So for her to walk around with the bandage, he felt some type of way. But that's Jennifer, and that's what I like about her, because let's just fast forward to her and Margaret, since we're going in that direction anyways. And the ladies, and Jackie, and Melissa. Last season. I did watch last season, but to be honest with you, if you were to ask me the details of who's mad at who and why they're mad at them, I really couldn't tell you. I really couldn't tell you. Um, Jennifer can be a bit obnoxious, right? And she definitely can insert her opinions when it's not so much appropriate. But I don't know, I find Jennifer and Margaret to be very similar to each other. So, I don't know, I'm a little bit biased. I'll be straight up. I like Jennifer over Margaret. I don't know if I like Margaret too much, because I find Margaret to be hypocritical, because it's so terrible for Jennifer to be outspoken and say whatever her is on her mind and make jokes. But but when you do it, it's like, well, that's your character, and that's what makes you you, and that's what makes you such a good person, because you're straight up. when, like, that's Jennifer as well. So it's like, I understand in the moment you could be mad at her, but come on, you're filming a reality television show, so you got to give her a little bit of grace. You know the game, and you are also playing the game, so you can't get mad at somebody else for playing the game. That's all I have to say on that. But okay, fine. What? Whoops, 1 second. Okay, what did Jennifer? Let me remember now. What did Jennifer do to Margaret? Okay, Jennifer accused Margaret of being the source of the whole Jackie's husband cheating on her. You know, she was the one that told Teresa, right? And you know, Jennifer did walk it back and she was like, "I'm sorry, that was a theory." Right? Which is pretty it's a pretty shitty thing to do. It is. But I don't know. Tell me what you guys think. I just feel that no. Okay, the point is that comparable to what Margaret did to Jennifer by saying your husband was having an affair with the da 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 da. You know what I mean? With what? The pharmaceutical clerk? And then what? I think Margaret said the office manager. So maybe it's, you know, oh, it just clicked right here. It's like, yes, Bill, is his name Bill? We're going to call him Bill. Bill did have an affair with the pharmaceutical clerk, but he also had an affair with the office manager. That's why they're saying two different people. And Jennifer's like, "You don't even know. So if you're going to spill my tea, get the facts right." Well, little did she know that Margaret may be getting the facts right. Okay? And so are you. There's just lots of facts out there. Okay, sorry. Let me stop. Yes, so the point is, it's like, whoops. The point is that comparable to what Jennifer did with the rumor of Jackie's husband cheating on her came from Margaret. The thing is, one was a lie-ish, right? Because Jennifer did admit that she thought it was a theory. So it wasn't really factual, and one is fact. I don't know, Jennifer, I like you, but I feel like you did bring it upon yourself. Just same thing with Teresa, like, and Louis. Like, I can't feel bad for you now after how you have carried yourself in the past and how you've been so quick to talk about everybody else and their business. So, I mean, if there's tea and dirt coming about you, especially if you present yourself like this perfect family, or like if people, you don't even have to do that. If people get that impression of you, they're going to come after you. You know what I mean? It's going to come out. It is. You know, it is. So I can't feel too bad. Okay. Who else? Dolores and David, the doctor. I thought she broke up with him. Is it just me? Or is this going to happen mid-season? Because I thought they were done. I thought she was with somebody else. Because, I don't know, I can't take another season with her and David. You know what I mean? Like, David seemed like a really nice guy. He does, but Dolores needs a reality television boyfriend. She needs a reality television boyfriend. Just like Louis, like, despite everything that's going on with Louis, he showed up to that Teresa's party. And you know he didn't want to be there. You know he was completely embarrassed. He felt terrible. He didn't want to be on camera, but he showed up for Teresa because he knows that this is Teresa's job. And he has to be on camera. And if he's not on camera, listen, Kenya Moore chose Mark Daly, and we saw how that worked out. Okay? We saw how that worked out. So I don't think it's, unless you yourself are ready to move on, I don't think it's great to kind of jeopardize your place on the show for, like, no, let me not say that. It's none of my business. Oh, who helped? Tinsley. Tinsley is another one that left the show for her man. And we saw how that worked out. So listen, I can't tell you what to do, but if we're just looking at the track record of on the show and how it goes, the stats are there. So make up your own mind on that one. But yeah, he showed up for her. David, but then David is a doctor. David is a whole doctor. He has his own career, and that's important to him too. So he's not going to jeopardize what he has going on for reality television. So at the end of the day, it's not that anyone's the bad guy in this situation. It's like I just don't think that they are the best match for each other. I think they could find better partners. And like I said, Dolores needs a reality television boyfriend. And like Frank, her ex-husband, and it's a good listen. I, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. Like if Frank wasn't the character he was on the show, I don't think Dolores would have been a housewife for too long. She would probably maybe be a friend to the show. But a housewife without Frank, I feel like Frank is a big part of that. So I think I don't they don't need to get back together. No, they don't. They don't. But like it would be nice if she found a boyfriend like Frank, you know what I mean? Someone who has that kind of personality to if she wants to be on reality television. Listen, I'm spending too much time on this. The point is, I'm done with David. um, Jackie. So Jackie and Teresa are in a better place. Nothing too much really happened with Jackie. Um, Melissa and Joe. Oh yes, so Joe mostly. Not so much Melissa, but more so Joe. Another one that, if their husband was moving on. But you know what? Let me say this. The reason why I enjoy Jersey so much is because of the husbands as well. They're interesting too. So, like, it just really ultimately, let me not be shady because it just adds to the show and its entertainment. So, it's all good. Okay? But Joe and Teresa, not even so much Teresa, but Teresa's daughters were really upset with Joe, you know, Teresa's brother, talking about Joe, Teresa's ex-husband. Don't want you guys to get confused because everybody's named Joe. Um, yeah. Um, they were really upset. All I can say is, I don't know. I don't know. You can't really tell someone how to feel when you're talking about their father. And they're also really young too. But I don't know, for me, it would be like, I guess I would be of two minds. Like, on one hand, yes, he's my father, and I will show him that respect. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he did what he did. He did what he did. It's not like he is an angel. So, in a heated moment, if someone, especially, it's not like one of my mom's friends, like it wasn't like Jackie that had that outburst, or it wasn't like even Melissa. It was Joe, her brother. So if her brother in a heated moment, which to be fair, I think Joe has a little too many heated moments, he needs to work on that. But if in a heated moment he kind of lashes out about, you know, their father, it would be kind of like, well, uh, Joe did these things, like, yeah, because of what he was doing. And listen, I don't know whether Teresa knew or not, but I just think that she had an idea and she went along with it because it came with certain perks. And same thing with Erica Jane. Like, they probably knew something was a little funny, something didn't seem right, but they looked the other way because they were able to have nice things and that was worth it for them. It is what it is. But like, he did those things. I don't know what to say. So I can't. Do you think, comment down below, do you think the daughters have a right to kind of be mad? It's not like Joe's lying. It's not like these things are a secret. And I feel like Joe is allowed to be upset with Joe. But, it is their uncle, and I guess they look up to him too, and they see him as a father figure too. So for him to kind of be talking crap, I get it, because it's one of those. It's like when two parents get a not two parents, when parents get a divorce. One of the rules, or one of the things they tell you, is try not to turn the children against one of the parents. Don't do that. That's not healthy. So if you have Joe, their uncle, who is like a father to them, talking crap about their father, it just creates this tension, because the other Joe in Italy is listening to these things and hearing these rants. And then when his daughters go to talk to him, he's probably like, "Oh, I hate that Joe. Don't talk to him." Da 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 da. So it's like they're caught in the middle. So it's like it's just best not to say anything. But but here's the thing. Here's the thing. If this was real life, Joe could honor that in front of their faces, right? But then behind their back, Joe could talk all the shit that he wanted. He could vent to Melissa and be like, "Oh, that asshole," you know? And everybody would be perfectly fine. The problem is that you are on reality television, right? And it's that kind of dilemma of like, Joe has to have some sort of personality. Joe has to have an opinion. In order to work for reality television, they have to kind of talk about things. But then if you talk about things on camera, you end up hurting your family. So I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. I'm glad I don't have to make that decision. That's on them. And we're going to find out what they decide to do, because that's kind of hard to navigate. Did I forget anybody? Margaret? Well, nothing really is going on with Margaret. It's more so Margaret gossiping about everybody else and their business. Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Like, that's why I'm like, why are you so mad at Jennifer when you are the same thing? And when Margaret is moving the way that she moves, it makes me wonder. I'm like, maybe Margaret did tell Teresa about Jackie's husband. Because Margaret seems to know everybody's business. Margaret is a gossip. Oh, and Jennifer said that Margaret said that, oh, her husband named Joe too? Oh my gosh, really? How many Joes? But her husband is a plumber, and he knows that Joe cheats people. Joe, Teresa's brother, Melissa's husband. I definitely believe she said that. Yeah, I don't know if she's so much a gossip. I think she's just somebody that is, I guess she just says whatever is on her mind. She's very unfiltered. So I don't know, but the thing is, she doesn't own it. She denies it as well. So who knows? But like watching her move in this first episode, I don't know. There may be truth to some of the stuff that people have been saying. Or maybe she's like, okay, fine. You guys think I'm a gossip? You guys think I do all these things? Well, I'm just going to be direct, and I'm just going to cause mess directly to your face, okay? So you can't say that I'm doing stuff behind your back. I'm just going to do it right here. I'm going to spill your business, okay? I don't know. Margaret, I felt for Jennifer. Even though I do think it's karma, it was like, damn. Like, and her husband's there too. Like that, and you could see Jennifer was really, really hurt by that. Really, really hurt. But I feel like Margaret alluded to her husband cheating before, but then Margaret was like, "Oh, I didn't know. I just was just saying whatever because you said this, so I was just saying that," because Margaret had an affair, right? So she was like, "Oh, I was just throwing it back in your face. I was just trying to hurt you. I wasn't trying to, da da da." But now we have this coming out. So it's kind of like, Margaret, back then, did you know that that was the truth? Did you know? And that's why you threw it in her face, but then you walked it back after with your apology as if you didn't know. Like, so that's the thing with Margaret. I don't know. Margaret's kind of shady. So, like I said, maybe there is some validity to some of the stuff that the other ladies have been saying about her. You know, and I feel like Margaret is going to get her karma soon. That's all I'm going to say. So, overall, I mean, great job, ladies. Great job. Very interesting first episode. Very, very interesting. I spent too much time on episode 1, but let's get right into episode 2. Okay, so there is two major storylines for episode 2. It's Joe and Gia, and Jennifer, her husband, and his cheating. Okay, but let's talk about Joe and Gia first. I'm going to say this. If you want someone to kind of look up to you as an elder and respect you in a certain way and all that jazz, I feel like the same thing needs to be extended towards that person as well. So if you want her to respect you as an elder, you have to respect her as your niece. You have to show that same respect. You have to show that same tenderness and wisdom and patience. You have to give that to them because you can't expect her to like give you all the empathy when you are doing things to hurt her. I think Gia has every right. Sure, maybe she shouldn't have. Well, she didn't mumble anything under her breath, but yes, was she being a bit passive aggressive when she was talking to her mom? Sure. Did she handle it the best? Maybe not. I don't think she handled it that poorly, actually. I think Gia handled this whole situation really well. However, she handled it, her feelings are valid, and I think that, sure, her and Joe may not see eye to eye. However, I think in order for them to move forward, Joe has to acknowledge how he's hurt her as well. I feel like with Joe, he's like a big baby. It's all about him, right? He can't stand to be challenged just a little bit. And he has been accused of being misogynistic, and I don't know, this just felt like another clear example of that. Like, he just wanted her to see things his way without even considering how she felt. And now, yes, and like I said before, I I can I understand where Joe's coming from, Teresa's brother, because Joe, Teresa's ex-husband, he did do those things. He really did. It's the truth. He isn't lying. But at the end of the day, that's his daughter. Okay? And despite everything that her father has done, she loves her father. She loves him, right? And when Gia was talking about like he's already like she was like, don't you think my dad knows all these things? Don't you think he already feels like crap? Like, he's in Italy, he's not here with us. Don't you think he already feels bad? And that, it made me listen. I don't really like Joe, Teresa's ex-husband, you know what I mean? But I can empathize after you've been to jail, you've like lost your family, you've lost everything. Like, I could get how you could be in a very dark place. And then to have another family member talk all this crap about you on national television, I can understand how that could be just a little too much. And Gia sees how her dad is suffering and how much he's beating himself up. So you could say, well, listen, you did the crime, you do the time. I guess you have to deal with the consequences of your actions. But like, you should be able to understand as an uncle to your niece that like her heart is breaking to see her dad's heart break, so when you do that stuff, you're not just hurting him, you're hurting her. And if you care about her, you will be a little bit more mindful about what you say. Like, I guess she also said, like, I totally understand that you're angry, but at what point do you let it go? Because it seemed like Joe has been angry at Joe from the start, from the first season that they appeared, they've been angry at Joe. Like, okay, this beef has been going on for how many years? At what point do you just drop it and let it go? Yes, he did this. Yes, he did that. But like, at, at some point, you have to kind of forgive him, for the cliche reason. You forgive someone for yourself, not for them. And this is a prime example of that, because if you're not able to kind of, I'm not saying he needs to forgive tomorrow. I'm just saying he needs to start to go on that process. He needs to start to make that journey, and hopefully by the end of the season we see progress towards that. I mean, it's only the second episode, so I can't be too hard on Joe, but at some point he has to realize him having this level of anger is going to end up isolating him from his family, the people that he's so upset about, like that he felt like, oh, you hurt them, you're going to also isolate yourself from them, right? Because unfortunately, they're not going to choose you over their father. They're just not. You know what I mean? And if their father is not that great of a guy, then as the children get older and they have their own experiences with him, they're going to find out for themselves. But you pushing that on them, like, come on, And even then, there's a way to express yourself without, like, storming off, yelling, screaming, raising your hands up in the air. Like, it's very intimidating. And it's like you're talking to your niece right now, right? Like, be a little bit more gentler, be a little bit more softer. Like, if you want to, like, I don't know, it's like, I don't know, you want to lean into these traditional roles, but then you don't act in a way that is safe, frankly. Like, if you want her to show you that respect and speak to you a certain way, you can't be storming off, yelling and screaming and carrying on like that. And I'm going to applaud Gia, because Gia was very, very mature. I know people may say she talked back, she did a little too much. I personally feel like she handled it really, really well. And she was tested, like, Melissa, I'm sorry, Melissa was trying, and I do appreciate that, but you could clearly tell whose side she was on. You know what I mean? But I did appreciate Melissa as well, because she kind of went over with Gia to make sure Joe wasn't yelling and doing too much, and when he started to get loud, Melissa was like, "Yo, calm down." So I appreciate Melissa for that. But clearly, obviously, Melissa's on her husband's side as well. But yeah, Gia, like, I respect Gia, because, yeah, everyone was like, "Hey, you go back, you work it out." And it's like, it shouldn't have to be like that. Why is Gia going to Joe, right? It should be Joe going to Gia. It should be Joe going to Gia trying to make it right, but it's the other way around. And it's like, you're supposed to be the elder, though. That doesn't make sense to me. Only, whatever. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. But yeah, like I said, I totally understand why Joe is upset, but you can't take that out on Gia. And that's what you're doing. That's not Gia's fault. So, like, why are you so angry at her? Why are you treating her like that? And I think it just harps back to this whole thing. If you guys remember, Joe felt like the other Joe was the reason why, like, him and his father weren't as close. Like, he felt like Joe turned him against his father, or turned his father against him, right? And I think that this whole thing with the nieces is triggering that trauma again, because he feels like, oh, he's losing his nieces to Joe, you know? And I don't know, maybe it was like some sort of kind of, okay, this is allegedly, I don't think this is true at all, but it just came to my head, so I have to just say it out loud. Maybe in some unconscious way, because Joe felt like Joe stole his father from him, he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna steal your daughters from you emotionally. You know what I mean? And then when he sees that that's not really quote unquote working, right? They're not that G is not showing complete devotion towards him. He snaps. He can't handle it. He can't handle it because he feels like he's losing his father all over again. He's back at that situation. So I'm not saying he's consciously doing this, but I think something unconsciously it's creating this sort of pattern, and that's why I think he needs to forgive Joe. His father unfortunately has passed, so has his mother. And, the past is the past. I don't know. Um, but I feel for them. I do. And, at the end of the day, they are able to come together. You know what I mean? Now, I think it may quickly become undone again, but they're able to still come together. So that's good. Okay, moving on to Jennifer and her husband, Bill, and this cheating, and Margaret being a jerk. Really. Um, I'm gonna be real. Like, Jennifer, she really got me. Like, I was really feeling sorry for her. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's completely devastated. Oh no, Margaret is such a jerk. Why would she do that? She took things way too far. I was like, to be honest, I was like Dolores, right? When Dolores and Teresa went over to Jennifer's house and Jennifer was telling the story, right? Which you know what? Props to Jennifer, because she could have just lied and be like, that's not true at all. She could have been like, Jackie, I'm joking, because there's no evidence for that. It's not true. Okay, for real, I don't know, but still, she could have went the other way around, where she could have just tried to deny it and say, don't talk about it. But once it was out there, Jennifer just owned it, and she told her story. And I'll get to no, okay, fine, I'll talk about it right now. I do feel sorry for Jennifer. I do. Like I said, she really got me. And then when Margaret was talking to Dolores, and Margaret was like, well, she was calling up so and so to get more information on Jackie's husband and who he was cheating with, Like, when I found that out, I was like, okay, well, karma, you have it coming. But just because someone has their karma coming and it happens, doesn't mean you can't feel sorry for them. Doesn't mean that you can't have empathy for them in that moment. Like Dolores, oh my god, when Dolores had her party at the townhouse and Jennifer came and she started crying, and like Dolores just stormed over to her and be like, why are you crying? What are those tears for? Same with Margaret. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Why are you so upset? You shouldn't be upset right now. And that is so gaslighty. I hate to use that word, but it's like, it was. It's like, okay, listen. I get that Jennifer had it coming to her, okay? I'm not gonna fault Margaret too much for saying what she said. But Margaret, I'm also gonna be like, I also have to make this point. Her husband cheating on her is not the same as you cheating on your husband. Okay? With someone that's cheating on their wife. It's not it's not the same. Sorry, I was getting a little high pitch there. Okay? But it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same at all. Now, listen, I'm not judging her, Margaret. I get it, stuff happens. But they're not the same situation. Okay? It is kind of weird how we use, and it's oftentimes with women, we use their husbands cheating on them as this sort of poor reflection on them, and we use that to hurt and shame them, which doesn't make any sense, because it's the person's who cheated shame. It's their shame. It's Bill's shame. That's why Bill is hiding upstairs, right? He's hiding from the camera, but his wife has to carry his shame. She has to go, she has to tell the story. She has to feel bad about it when it's like, I don't know. I just don't like how Margaret is using that to kind of shame her. Because you, like, if Bill pissed you off, use that information to, like, get back at Bill. But to use that information to get back at Jennifer, I just don't feel like it's not the same effect for me. And your affairs and the thing that you did, like, Margaret was open about it. Is it fair? No. No, it's not. But like you're the one who released the information about your life. Everybody knew. It wasn't a secret. What you did to Jennifer, she didn't want that out there. And it wasn't even it wasn't her secret. It was more so her husband's secret. But you used that against her. It's I think that was a low blow. It was, right? And Teresa has a point, but Teresa has a point for the wrong reasons, but she isn't wrong. Okay, when she was like, "You got so mad at me when I went to Jackie's party and I just, released the rumor. You were so mad, but then it's okay for you to go at my party and release this." You know what I mean? And they're looking at Teresa like she's dumb. And Dolores, oh my gosh, Dolores, she does this every season when she was like, "Well, to Teresa, this makes perfect sense." Yep. Yeah, Teresa, she thinks this is funny. Yeah, Teresa's just stupid. I don't know. Like, she does this thing in her confessionals where she's like, "Well, you don't understand Teresa like I do, okay? This is just how Teresa thinks." And it's like, come on now, guys. Really, you guys are gonna play dumb? It's it's the same, maybe even worse. You know what I mean? Like, Margaret was pretty shitty. Now I understand that everybody is mad at Jennifer for their own reason. I do think Jennifer talks a lot of crap. Like I said before, this is her karma. This is. So I understand why people are upset, but at the end of the day, once you've done the deed, okay, once you've clocked her T's, once you see the tears in her eyes, once you've made that blow, okay, and you're witnessing the impact, can you just have a little bit more empathy after that? Like, okay, fuck, oh god. I mean, I had to do it. She deserved it. She was getting on my nerves. But okay, fine. Like, at least kind of have the attitude of, like, we're even. We're even, Steven. Clear slate. Hopefully you don't come for me anymore. I had to show you. Hopefully you're good now and we can move forward when you're ready. But I know you're going to need some time to heal from the blow that I just landed. Okay, I'm going to give you that time. Cool. But Margaret is just doubling down, She's just, like, leaning in. And it's funny, she told Jackie, like, when Jackie was like, "Okay, just have, I'm not mad at you for doing that, but, she's having a difficult time right now, so just go easy on her." And Margaret was like, "Oh, no, yeah, of course not. Yeah, I totally feel bad for what I did. Yeah, no, I won't push it or whatever. I don't want to keep this going." And it's like, as soon as Jennifer got there and Margaret had an opportunity, bam, why are you crying? Why are you crying? And then she kind of leaned in with the whole, "Oh yeah, well, Jackie, you went and called so and so to ask about Jackie's husband and his cheating." Like, what? And of course Jackie was like, What? My husband? I thought we were over this. That was last season, okay? We are done. We are done." You could tell Jackie doesn't want them to bring up her husband. She thought she made it through. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And now we hear about Frank having photos. What the hell? And I don't know. This could be another one of Jennifer's quote unquote theories, but that seems oddly Pacific to me. So, maybe there is a little bit more to those rumors. So, Jackie, I'm sorry. It may have been last season, but it looks like it's slipping into this season too, okay? Because I'm curious. I can't lie. But whatever. Let's go back to Margaret. Yes. So Margaret is really like and it's like, Margaret, I just don't understand. I don't understand the hate you have for Jennifer. Okay? I really don't. You got your revenge. Move on. Like, come on. What more do you want from her? Now she can't cry. Now she has to go through this situation and be totally happy. You just exposed her husband. Like, come on. Even like, she's allowed to have her emotional reaction. You guys can't control that. And Dolores was getting on my nerves. Like, why you I'm not saying you can't be angry at Jennifer, but like, why are you guys being angry at her crying? That's just weird to me. It's like you slap someone in the face, they start crying, and you're like, why are you crying? Like, because that's their emotional reaction to the situation they're in. Like, huh? And yeah, and it's like I said, Margaret used something that wasn't even Jennifer's fault. Like, Jennifer, it was her husband that was cheating. So it's just like, I get it, because maybe they feel like Jennifer acts like she's perfect and she wants to judge everybody. Fine, I understand the logic, but Margaret, you comparing what Jennifer did to you and what you did to her as the same thing, of no, or more so saying that Jennifer is a hypocrite. Jennifer's not a hypocrite. Have you ever stopped to think that maybe the reason why Jennifer has such a problem with you having an affair with a married man is because her husband cheated on her? Did you ever stop to think that? Because of her experience? And I'm not saying that gives her an excuse to treat you like crap, but you can understand where she's coming from, right? And I guess they're kind of a mirror for each other, and I guess that's why they always bump heads. They always do. So, yeah, this was a good second episode. Okay, so let's start with Dolores and her family and David. Now, I don't want to say I'm happy that she broke up with David, because, you don't want to be happy that anyone broke up. But I definitely think it's for the best. I think we all saw it coming. I mean, she's been complaining about him for 3 seasons now. So I think it's time that she moved on. You know what I mean? Not to say that David is a bad guy. He seems like a great guy. They're just not compatible, you know? But here's the thing about Dolores. I think she is so afraid of feeling sometimes that it can lead her into situations where she doesn't feel good, but instead of like acknowledging that, she'll kind of stick out the situation longer than she probably should. And I feel like the same thing is kind of going on with Frank. I'm not saying her and Frank can't be friends and they can hang out and they can have a good relationship. I mean, they have 2 kids with each other. But do you really want to be living with him again? With the kids? Is like, what are you guys trying to do? Have like a redo of what you didn't have in the past? It's kind of like, it doesn't seem like Dolores is too excited about that, right? But she feels like she can't say no because it's his house too, symbolically at least. And it doesn't seem like the kids really want that either. The daughter doesn't want that at all. And the son is like, look, I just want everybody to get along. I just want peace. And if our father moves back in, that may cause a lot of chaos and mess. So I don't know. I think Dolores needs to start feeling and respecting and listening to other people's feelings and stop being like, I don't know, like, I'm glad by the end of the episode, like, Dolores is kind of getting her turn. I'm glad that Jackie called out Dolores. I am. Because okay, I get it. You shouldn't be breaking down crying every 5 seconds. We all understand that you need to have some emotional regular. Basically, you have to be able to keep yourself together. We get that. You can't go breaking down all over the place. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a robot, right? That doesn't mean someone like stabs you in the stomach and you have to have a smile on your face and like you people react, people get emotional, people get caught up, right? But it seems like with Dolores, the only acceptable emotion or the only like a respected emotion is being angry. You know what I mean? And getting like, sure, if you want to fight somebody, that's okay. But if you want to cry, oh no, the horror, she's crying. It's like, come on. Sh- And Dolores is very two-faced. She is. She is. If you want to fast forward to the end of that episode, she does because come on, you're not gonna tell us. I don't even believe this, and I don't even know you, okay? But you're not gonna tell me that just you are friends with Jennifer the same as you are friends with Margaret. That you guys that Margaret and Jennifer are equal in your eyes. Like come on, like it's very clear that you are more closer to Margaret, which is okay. Like it's okay if you have a closer friendship with Margaret. It's not a big deal. You've known Margaret longer than you've known Jennifer. But it's like, just own it. Just admit it. Why can't you? But instead, you want to like play both sides. When clearly we can see from other scenes that you're not too pleased with Jennifer. You don't like Jennifer too much. That's what it's coming off. But instead of owning that, you're like pretending. And then you're supposed to be so tough. And if you're so tough, then you wouldn't have any problem being honest. I'm just saying with Dolores. But I don't think Dolores is a bad person at all. I do like Dolores. I think she's just one of those people that she's very selfless and I think she always wants to do the right thing for everybody else, but I don't know. Like I think that just I think she needs to start thinking more about herself and what she wants from her life because listen, her children are grown, her daughter is a doctor, congratulations, right? Definitely, yeah, if you guys can live together as long as you want to live together, sure, but at the end of the day, if the daughter doesn't like living with her father, then maybe it's time for her to kind of find a place of her own. You know what I mean? Just saying. Just saying. Okay, moving on. Jackie. Oh my gosh, Jackie. I didn't want to say this out loud earlier on, but I was thinking about Jackie and I was thinking about her eating habits and I was wondering if this season we were going to get more of the same, right? Because we've seen in the previous seasons that she doesn't really eat, she'll have a granola bar or a salad and you could tell something wasn't right. And I like that. Well, not so much that I like that, but I respect that Jackie is this season, she's being open about it, and she's just saying she's she's admitting that I mean she always admitted that she had a problem, but it was more so past tense. But I really respect that she admitted that she is going through it, that she is, and she's getting help. And I guess like when you have social media and everything calling you out and da 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 da, it kind of just, you have to face it. So I really respect Jackie for that. I really do. I hate to say this about the husband. You know what I mean? And you guys tell me what you think. Do you do you get like enabling vibes from him a little bit with her eating disorder? I hate to say that, but I just get that kind of vibe from him, you know? But to be fair, I've never dated someone like that or been married to someone who is battling that, and it's like, you don't want to make your whole entire relationship about it. You know what I mean? it's like at some point you have to kind of just not let them do what they want to do, but like kind of, and just make sure that they're healthy, that they don't go too much off of the edge. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's trying to do. Like, okay, I love her. I want to be with her. I know she's struggling with this. So we're just going to take it day by day, but I'm not going to like always harp on her or nag her about it, because it's just going to make it worse, because she'll just get defensive and shut down, and it would just be a big deal. And it's like, I'd rather just kind of stay quiet, you know? So, yeah, I mean, that must be difficult on both ends. I don't know. I don't know. So, I don't want to place too much judgment, but I just got enabler vibes. And it could just be enabler because of, yeah, or I don't know, maybe, you know what? I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it, but if you guys know what I'm saying or not saying, then you know what I'm saying. Okay, but I'll just leave it as, I respect Jackie. It must be really difficult to talk about this on a public platform. And yeah, and I like Jackie. I do. I like Jackie. Okay. Do. Teresa, Joe, and her daughters, and everything like that. Let's talk about that. Um, I'm glad that, Joe is finally kind of starting to realize that he has to let go of the anger that he has toward Joe. He has to do that for the sake of his family. Because yes, you have the right to be upset. His reasons are valid, but that's the past. What can you do? Like, okay, you've been upset for a year. At what point are you gonna just... I'm not saying you can never be upset, but you have to learn how not to like have outbursts. You shouldn't be like tossing over cheese plates and carrying on and screaming at the top of your lungs. Like, you're doing too much. You're a grown man. Like, you could say what you have to say, but it's just a little bit more calmer. Like, relax a bit. Oh my gosh. But maybe that's like, I understand that's his personality. Some people are just very expressive, but if you see how you're expressing yourself is hurting your family, maybe you should do something about it, which he's recognizing, which is great. Which is great. Now, I hope it's not just words. Like, he said something to Gia where it was like, I should be able to say whatever I want to you, and you should be okay with it because we're family. Ugh. It's like, yes, I guess you would say with family, there will always be resolve. Like, we will always, if there's an issue, we will always try to figure it out and move forward. But it's not that, like, I can cause whatever issue, I can hurt you, I can do and say whatever I want to you, and you just have to forgive me and show me respect because I'm your uncle and I'm the elder. That that's toxic. I'm sorry. That's not going to work. That's not going to work. Just the same, like, I'm not saying you can't be honest and you can't be yourself or express yourself or you have to be fake. But you have to, like, if you know you're going to say something that may be hurtful to the other person, or it's a topic that is heavy for the other person and for yourself, then the way you express it with a bit of grace. You express it with a bit of empathy. You don't scream and shout and throw over cheese plates. That's not the way to deal with such a delicate topic. Like, come on, relax. Like I said, he seems like he's understanding this, but yeah, I don't agree with what he said. I should be able to do whatever I want or say whatever I want, and you forgive me. It doesn't. it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And I think you knowing that helps you act a bit better with people. So you don't go over the top, because you know that if I go over the top and I disrespect somebody, they can walk away from me. Even if they are family, they can walk away. So if someone can walk away, you maybe think twice before you do certain things, you know? And they may not walk away completely right out of your life, but you're not going to have that same emotional bond and connection you had before, because they don't feel safe around you, because it just comes off like you don't care about their feelings, because you'll just say whatever you want. No. And then it becomes all about your feelings, and it becomes all about giving you respect. That's just very egotistical. I'm sorry. But you know what? Listen, we've all talked shit about Louis, but maybe who knows if this relationship will last between him and Teresa, but maybe there is a reason why he has come into their lives, because he seems to have had a positive influence on their family. Like, if this conversation happened maybe like what, 3 seasons ago, it would have went completely differently. There would be yelling and screaming. Joe would be storming off, tossing over a cheese plate, jumping into the pool. I don't know what. Like, Teresa would have been flipping the table. Like, who knows? It would have been on 10. It would have been on 100. Right? So maybe Louis has been a good influence on them, where they're now able to kind of talk about their feelings and not have it like go to the extremes, you know? So it was nice to see that. That was a good scene. And I'm glad Melania, she got resolved in what her issues was with her uncle, and he seemed to receive them. So kudos to them. Good luck. um The new girl, I don't know. I haven't mentioned her so far because meh, you know what I mean? um I don't have much to say about her, but um yeah, I don't know why I brought her up. I just thought I should. Next. Margaret, and not just Margaret, just the whole, like, the ending scene, really. Margaret. Margaret. It's funny because, I don't know. Everybody is different. Everybody, you know, can take certain jokes and not take it to heart and kind of, brush it off of the shoulder. But I would personally feel a little bit, I would feel away if my husband kept joking about sleeping with one of my friends. Okay? Not just sleeping with one of my friends, but joking about my death and how upon my death he could sleep with one of my friends. Like, what? Oh, not just sleep with, but marry them. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. I don't want my husband speculating on my death as a joke. And the thing is, it's not even like a joke, ha ha ha. I'm just being facetious. You know what I'm trying to say. You know? It's like, it's a joke. It's one of those jokes where it's not really a joke because it's true. Well, you know what? Jokes have truth in them. They really do. Those are the best jokes. So this is his plan. He's completely planning this. I'm convinced. Right? So yeah, of course you're gonna feel some type of way. So at the party, Dolores is like hanging off of his back. She has her arms wrapped around him, and he's loving it. And Margaret's like looking over. She's scrunching up her mouth. I don't think she finds it so funny and amusing and cute. And then And you know what that Margaret does? You know what she does? She, who does she tell? Oh, Melissa. She tells Melissa, oh, yeah, I heard that your husband's, was, mm-hmm. And Melissa was like, where did you get that from, Dolores? Like, yo, the more and more I'm watching Margaret, Jennifer's theory doesn't seem so far-fetched. Because, yes, Margaret is the type of person, she'll take your secrets and bam, she'll use it against you. But I just found the timing a bit funny. It's like, oh, you want to hang all over my husband? Okay. I got something for you. And you could tell, like, Dolores was like, oh my gosh, Margaret. But that was harmless and that was cute. But I see you, Margaret. I see you. um Yeah, this whole thing. Oh, yes, the new girl. The new girl spoke up against Margaret because she felt like you guys are being a little mean and being cruel. And you can't tell somebody not to have their feelings. Yeah, you felt like she deserved what she got, but still, she's having her emotional reaction. Now, the other ladies, they feel like she's, besides Jackie, Jackie can relate. you Well, yes, the other ladies are kind of like, well, she had it coming, or no, they more so felt like she was faking it, like it was a performance. You know what I mean? I guess their kind of thought process, it was like, this happened 10 years ago. This is not a recent thing, so you should be over it. So stop acting like you're so devastated. You know what I mean? Especially after all the stuff you've done to us. So cut it out. You don't get to cry. And fine, maybe I get that. Do I think Jennifer's faking it? I don't know. She could be. She could be laying it on a little thick. Just like, listen, people accused Jackie last season of doing too much about the information. Maybe Jennifer is doing too much. I don't know. You can't really. I don't know. I'm going to believe that this is an authentic reaction, whether it's because she's embarrassed or she's still hurt or he's still cheating. Not to say that he is, but you never know what's going on. So I don't know at the end of the day, but I don't think it's far fetched for her to start crying or be upset if you expose that her husband had an affair. Like, she gets to be upset about that. I don't know. At the end of the day, whatever. But yeah, I did like that the new girl stood up to them. So kudos to her, I guess. Right? So Jennifer she comes to the party. Bill, comes out of hiding. He now can face everybody. And Jennifer tells Dolores, yeah, I don't feel like you've really had my back or been that supportive of me. And I'm not the only one that feels that way. Jackie also feels like you're a shit friend. And it's kind of like, oh my gosh, Jennifer. And it's like, just when you start to feel a little sorry for Jennifer, it's like, yeah, I can see why. I can see why people don't like you that much in the group. And it's like the more it's so clear that Jennifer and Margaret are so similar. At the same party, they both done the same thing where they're like, throw somebody under the bus like that. Like, come on, Jackie had a private conversation with you. Not really private, it was on national television, but still, But I love that, what I loved is that Jackie didn't turn around to Jennifer and be like, that was a private conversation. Why did you tell her that? What are you trying to do? Jackie came into the situation and she was like, yeah, and I said it. So, yeah, I said it. Mm-hmm. And your problem? And Dolores was mad. And then, of course, Dolores starts getting up in her face, trying to intimidate her, which Dolores does have a very intimidating, presence, but I'm not buying it from Dolores anymore. You may have got me maybe 2 seasons ago, but now that I've seen the way that you move, mm-mm. You're just trying to you're just trying to distract. You're just trying to you're using your physical aggression to intimidate her, to stop her from speaking the truth, to stop Margaret from speaking the truth. Because Margaret's like, come on, you're more my friend than you are Jennifer's friend. You don't even like Jennifer. You talk so much crap about Jennifer. What are you talking about? Me and her are the same for you. That you're both friends to us. Come on. That's what everybody is thinking, right? And instead of Dolores just being honest and being like, okay, sure, and saying how she feels. And that's the thing. And I guess Dolores has always kind of been like that. She wants to play Switzerland, and I don't think that's gonna last very long for her. Anywho, yeah, this was a good episode as well. The ladies are definitely bringing it this season. Every episode has been very good. Okay, so finally, we are on the last episode of the marathon review, episode 4. A lot went down this episode. This season has been good. This season has been really good so far. So, let's start off with Dolores and Frank and their family. And you know what? If they like it, I love it. If they can make it work and set the boundaries with each other, what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with, then that's cool. If it works, it works. It is what it is. It isn't perfect, but they love each other and that's what it is. But it just makes me wonder when one of the boundaries you have to set is, Dad, you can't bring any girls home. Like, because it's like on one hand, you would be like, okay, all of you guys are adults. So if you do bring a significant other home, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You know what I mean? But it seems like the father, Frank, seems to be kind of. He seems to sleep around a lot with different women. So, yeah, that's kind of interesting for them to be like, "Hey, Dad, you can't have your women coming in and out of the home." And it's like, why do you want to live with your kids? It seems like you're very much living that bachelor lifestyle. So why would you want to now live with your children? Unless, like I said, maybe Frank is ready to settle down. He's ready to settle down and he wants to be near his family. And I don't know, is it just me? But Frank seemed a little bit, I don't want to say happy, but he didn't seem too upset about Dolores and David breaking up. Like it's just so clear that I don't think the relationship would work. I don't think they need to be together at all. But you can kind of tell that Frank, like, if Dolores would give him another chance, he would take it. But I think Dolores knows better. She knows that, nope, this is not the one for me. And I'm really happy that she decided to stay in her townhouse rather than move in with Frank and the kids. Like, that was really, really smart of her. Because, yeah, they can get along. They seem to have a great relationship, and I really do love it for them. But I don't want to see them together romantically. I don't. I think Dolores deserves better. No offense, Frank. So I'm glad for Dolores in that situation. So moving on. um Jackie. So it seems like part of Jackie's storyline is her getting help with her eating disorder, which will be very interesting to see it unfold. You know, that's all I gotta really say. on it so far because that's all we've got. But yeah, it seems like I hate to say it, but it seems like the audience was right when we've been picking up on certain things, um, how she was moving. So I'm glad that she's finally being open with it. And it must be hard, but hopefully the audience is not going to be like mean and nasty and super judgy and all that, because that doesn't help the situation, you know? So, yeah. So, let's move on to Jennifer and Margaret. I like that they were able to kind of move on fairly quickly. I was kind of afraid that we know how it goes, like one kind of point ends up carrying the entire season, and it's always this back and forth. Um but the thing is, it's been going on for a while between the both of them, and I'm kind of glad. I don't think it will last though, to be honest, but I'm glad to see that they're able to come to an understanding at the end of the day, because I feel like, yeah, they both came for each other. They both hit below the belt. So let's just call it a wash and move forward at the end of the day. I like that Jennifer admitted that Margaret being almost boastful about her affair was triggering for her. You know, she was opening it up to Margaret and she was like, I kept this a secret, not just for me, but also for my husband, for his reputation in our community. And if they found out that he cheated, they're probably going to blame me, or they're going to look at me and think that I did something wrong. You know, that's why I speak so highly about my husband, because if I don't, he's going to cheat. And I was like, hmm? Like, that's kind of messed up that you feel like you have to kiss your husband's ass. But I don't know, from watching them, I never really got that impression. I felt like, I don't know, I think Jennifer loves to kind of be a mother and, you know, I don't know, I think maybe I could be wrong and we're gonna find out, but I don't know. I think I would hope that Jennifer is happy in her life and she's happy doing those things for her children and her husband. Maybe we're gonna find out that she's not so happy. But that's the image that she has projected for the last couple of seasons, you know, that she enjoys what she's doing, but it's going to be kind of sad if we find out the reason why she was so proud of her life and seemed so content was to appease her husband so he wouldn't cheat on her. Like, huh? That's absolutely heartbreaking. If that's the truth, maybe she just misspoke. I don't think so. Well, I, you know, that whole cheating thing, it happened 10 years ago. I hope that he's not cheating now and it's in the past, but still, I guess we're going to see it unfold, because looking at the trailer, it seems that her and Bill still have some issues that they need to work through. Maybe they didn't have certain conversations that maybe Jennifer is ready to have now. Maybe, I don't know. So we'll see. Um and Margaret, I think Margaret also needs to kind of just let it go. I think Jennifer, despite everything, she's willing to kind of move forward. Margaret is still very mad at Jennifer, and it's kind of like, you're the same thing. So let's just move on. But they seem to be at least in a better place than what they were. So that's good. Okay. Um moving on. Um let's talk about Teresa and Louis. And Louis seems very upset with the rest of the crew and the cast. They feel like they feel, well, blah, 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 rewind. Louis or Louis, sorry, feels like the cast is talking about him. And I will say that feeling is correct. They are definitely talking about him. And he knows it. And, you know, listen, you're on reality television, and at some point, I do think you kind of have to address certain things. I mean, a lot of people have come out against you and have said terrible things about you, and like Joe said, the other Joe, Margaret's husband, where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, you can't just run away from this, unfortunately. You're dating somebody that's a reality TV star. And I feel like it's very. Teresa, I think she's being kind of unfair. Like you could talk about the other ladies and their husbands, but then when it comes to your boyfriend, you don't want any of the ladies discussing him or saying anything. That's a double standard. Just like Jackie's husband. I gotta remember his name. What is his name? Greg? I don't know. But like just like he got it, you know what I mean? Just like Bill is getting it now, Louis has to get it. He has to get it. And it's not like people are making stuff up. I maybe one or two, but like all those people are making things up about him. And then we have this weird video. Like, I'm gonna search this up after I finish watching all the episodes. Like, is the video out there? I don't even know if I want to see it. Right? But like, you have to address this. I think what he should just be like, he should say is like, that was my past. I've changed. I don't know what he should say. But running away, I don't know how that's really gonna work when you're dating someone who's on reality television. Unless you're just not gonna appear on TV. And yeah, they're gonna talk about you. And the longer you kind of avoid it, the more they're gonna talk. The more it's gonna be like, oh, did you hear he didn't show up? Oh my gosh, did you hear Teresa left? She was so upset. Like, it just becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. And then ultimately, it's going to lead you to the point where you're going to have to address it. You're going to have to face it. So you face it now or you face it later. Or, you break up. I don't think he wants to do that. But, I mean, you did the things that you did. Even if you changed, which I hope he's changed and has become a better person. But even if you have, you still have to, face the things that you've done, You can't, you've done them, you can't run away. It's gonna suck, but what are you gonna do? Next time, don't date someone that's on reality television. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. So, Teresa, I think if it was the other way around, like Teresa would be right there with the ladies gossiping, wanting to know what's going down. So, come on. So, speaking of Teresa, Dolores, we're going to add Dolores into it and we're going to bring back Jennifer, right? Dolores tells Jennifer that Jackie was like, what did Jackie say again? Well, I don't feel bad for her because her husband is the one who stuck his you-know-what into you-know-what. You know what I mean? And I feel that's kind of, I don't know if that's kind of slimy of Dolores. I mean, Jackie, you did say it, but at the end of the day, that was before. I think, actually, no, that was after. Oh, yeah, that was after Jackie apologized. Not really Jackie apologized to Jennifer, but they kind of made a truce. Yeah, that was after. That was. Okay, Dolores. I mean, that's fair. I mean, if Jackie's gonna call you out and say that you're not a good friend, then I guess you can give examples of how Jackie has not been a good friend. But here's the thing, right? I feel like Jennifer should just let it go because when Jackie found out that you went around calling people looking for evidence, Jackie let that go. She's like, "It's okay, I forgive you, that's in the past." So, if Jackie has a moment where she says something a little bit crass about your husband sticking his, you know what, into wherever, you gotta give her a pass. That's how I feel. Like, I understand you being upset, but I feel like you gotta give her a pass on that one. Because you kind of deserved it at that point. You can't get that offended by it. So, I guess they're gonna have their moment, but I hope it's not something that she wants to drag on. You know what I mean? But Jackie, she said it, so it is what it is. You know, and Dolores, just own it. Just own what you were doing. Be upfront and stop throwing, Jackie under the bus to kind of get out of the situation. Because, yeah, clearly you were on Margaret's side. It's okay. You can be on Margaret's side. Maybe you don't like Jennifer. Maybe the only reason you kind of tolerate Jennifer is because of Teresa. I don't know. No, I shouldn't say that. Everybody has their own friendship. You know what I mean? Everybody has their own friendship. So, yeah, what else happened? Oh, yes, yes. It ended off with Teresa and the Louis thing, and I talked about that. Yeah, he's just gonna have to face the group and give an explanation. You can't, like, come on, you can't have a video of you naked on your knees begging and asking for forgiveness and expect people not to ask you about it or talk about it. Like, come on, that's being a bit unfair. You know what I mean? Like, so what's up with that video? Come on. So yeah, guys. Yeah, I probably missed tons of stuff, but this was supposed to be kind of like a real quick review of each episode. But yeah, that's the end of the marathon review, and hope you guys enjoyed. Like, comment, and subscribe, and see ya.